All right, let's talk about AI, because if you think it's still about just typing a simple question into a box, well, you're already behind. We're moving way beyond that now. We're talking about building the new invisible infrastructure for your business, strategic prompt systems that are going to fundamentally change how you operate. This right here is the new frontier.
So what does this look like in the real world? Let me give you a crazy example. The huge fintech company Klarna, they recently replaced 700 of their customer service agents, not with new hires, but with a single, powerful AI system. 700 people. And the result? Get this, a 25% drop in the time it takes to solve a customer's problem. And here's the real kicker. Customer satisfaction actually went up. So this was never just about cutting costs. It was about building something better, faster, and way more scalable.
And that brings us to the one question you have to ask yourself today if you're using AI in your business. Are you just a prompter, copying and pasting things into a chat window and just hoping for the best? Or are you starting to think like an engineer and building a system? That's the challenge we're going to unpack right now. To really get why this is such a big deal, you have to understand there's been this fundamental shift in how we even think about AI. We have to stop seeing prompts as these disposable, one-off questions and start seeing them as what they are, valuable, programmable assets.
I mean, think about how fast this has all moved. 2023, that was the year AI was playful, it was an experiment. Then 2024 rolled around, and wow, it became a genuinely productive tool we all started using. But the leap we're taking into 2025, it's a whole different ballgame. Prompts are becoming programmable assets, literally the core infrastructure of a modern company.
This quote just nails it. Prompt systems are the new APIs, but for human reasoning. An API lets two pieces of software talk to each other, right? But a prompt system, it does something way more profound. It actually encodes your company's logic, its judgment, its entire way of thinking, and then makes it available at a massive scale.
So, yep, that old model of just asking a random question and moving on, for any serious business, that's over. The new model, the one that companies like HubSpot and Notion are already building out, is all about creating these standardized, version-controlled libraries of prompts that work consistently for everyone in the whole organization.
So if that's the problem, moving from messy, chaotic prompting to a real structured system, what's the solution? Well, there's a professional framework emerging, and it's called PromptOps. This is how you really operationalize AI and turn it from a cool toy into a reliable, scalable asset.
I want you to think of PromptOps as a whole new layer in your company's technology. It's that invisible infrastructure that lets you manage, deploy, and scale your company's intelligence. Honestly, it's becoming one of the most critical functions in any company that wants to be serious about AI.
And look, this isn't some fuzzy, abstract idea. PromptOps is built on 4 very distinct pillars, just like professional software development. We're talking about development environments, version control, deployment, and, of course, monitoring. Let's just quickly touch on what each of these means.
Okay, so dev environments, that's where your team can work together to test and debug prompts just like they're writing code. Then you've got version control, which is absolutely crucial. It lets you track every single change so you can roll back if a new prompt messes something up. Deployment pipelines. That's how you reliably get those tested prompts out into your live apps. And finally, monitoring. That's how you make sure your AI's performance, its tone, its accuracy, all stay top-notch. It's a full professional workflow.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, because putting a system like this in place isn't just about being more organized. It's about building a defensible moat around your business. We're talking about your newest and maybe most important form of intellectual property. We call this prompt IP. It's the sum of your company's unique knowledge, its processes, its judgment, all that secret sauce encoded into prompts that can be scaled consistently. This becomes a real defensible business asset, and it could be just as valuable as your actual software code.
And hey, if you need proof that the world is waking up to this, just look at the market. The AI prompt marketplace is exploding, growing at a compound rate of nearly 27% a year. That's not because people are looking for cute prompts for their hobbies. It's because businesses are realizing these frameworks are incredibly valuable IP.
This quote really says it all. He who controls the prompts controls the model. He who controls the model controls the business. In a world driven by AI, controlling your prompts gives you control over the AI's output. And controlling that output gives you an insane amount of control over your operations, your brand, and your edge over the competition.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds powerful, it sounds game-changing, but where do I even start?
how do I actually do this? So let's shift from the why to the how with a clear, actionable blueprint to get you going.
Here it is, your 7-step plan. First, audit your business to find those repeatable tasks. Second, break down your big prompts into smaller, reusable pieces. Third, inject dynamic context, like customer data. Fourth, and this is a big one, version everything so you can track all the changes. Fifth, test your prompts at scale, not just one by one. Sixth, deploy them through an API so all your other tools can use them. And finally, number 7, track their performance and never stop improving.
And I want to leave you with this one final thought, because it's the most important part. The companies that are building these systems right now, they're not just going to get a speed advantage. They're building a better brain for their entire organization. They won't just move faster, they're going to think better.
Now, all this theory, all these blueprints, it's one thing to talk about it, but what does one of these systems actually look like? What does it feel like to manage your company's brain from a central dashboard? Are you ready to see a prompt command center in action? Because that's exactly what we're going to show you in our next explainer.